Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to our July, August-ish users group. Today we're covering a topic that we get questions about all the time, video. How do I shoot video? When should I shoot video? What type of equipment should I use for video? So today I'm Jessica Tavares, Director of Marketing here at Foster Consulting, and I'm joined by Scott Duvall, our Director of Video Productions. And he's got a lot to cover. So I told him I would give him the briefest introduction ever so he could just jump right in. We know you guys are a bunch of DSS power users, and we're really excited to teach you how to use video and how to integrate it into DSS to build your perfect practice. All right, Scott, let's see what you got.
Right on. Thank you, Jessica. I'm going to share my screen and we can get started. So, I am ahead a little bit. Thanks everybody for joining. I am Scott, like Jessica said. I'm here to talk about how we can wrap our heads around some DIY video. I've been director of video production at Foster since 2022. I started in 2021 on the SEO team, and then I was actually going to grad school. I was getting a Master of Science in Television and Media Management with an MBA, and that inspired Tom to say, "Hey, I want a video production department. You're the guy. Let's make it happen." So in 2022, we made it happen, and it's what I've been doing ever since, and I love it. So this presentation is actually going to be broken down into two halves. The first one is DIY video basics, where I'm going to go over just some of the most successful styles, formats of video that we see our clients doing a lot on their own. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about how you can use the equipment you have to make as high quality of video as you possibly can. The second half of the presentation is going to be all about really polishing it and prepping yourself for success after you kind of have the basics down. And that's going to go over different obstacles and challenges I hear from, frankly, everyone. Uh, how to build some consistency so it's not just like a one and done operation. And then, like I said, polishing, trying to make your videos as profound and useful as possible. So the first one, video basics. These are the foundations for every great video, whether you're professional or you are an entrepreneur who's just doing video on the side for marketing. These are what you really need to know. The very first rule is emotional connection. Your clients are not going to trust you. They're not going to find value in your videos or any of your marketing, frankly, if you're not touching them on a personal, emotional level. There is a lot to be said for being stoic on camera, speaking about very intense issues like what to do after a car crash, what to do after your grandmother dies, you have a certain health issue. All that is very valuable to speak with a very professional and corporate manner. But you've got to be able to use the content in a way that will resonate with them because they're not going to just happen across your video. They're looking for your solutions. They're looking for your services. So how you do that is with video. The different styles that we've found to be the most successful in this are number one, FAQs, frequently asked questions and relevant topics like videos for your practice area pages. If you're able to explain what you actually do for people and you can provide answers to legitimately frequently asked questions, that is going to just skyrocket your marketing so much higher than it would be if you were just running with a text-based website or you posted occasionally on social media. Maybe you had a newsletter that went out. Video really allows you to explain things truly in your own words at a pace and in a language that your audience will more likely understand rather than just reading blocks of text. Employee highlights and humanization is massive for this concept. A lot of people will come to our clients because they're in, frankly, a really bad place. Either they have a court case going on, they have a major medical issue happening, they lost a loved one, something like that. People are really looking at them as like this is just a company I go to when things are bad. They're not thinking so much as like, oh, this is a human I'm talking to. This is an attorney. This is a doctor. They have a profession. This is what they do. They live in their hospital, right? And like making yourself human, showing that it's like meat and skin behind the lab coat or behind the suit is really important. And I would actually argue the employee highlights may even be more important than the executive highlights. If you have a receptionist who is the number one or is the first touch point for between your clients and your business, definitely highlight them because not only are they the first impression that
Mhm.
they're going to have of your clients are going to have of your business, your video allows you to kind of get up ahead of that. So by the time they get to the office and they're actually talking to them, it kind of feels like they already know them a little bit, which makes them feel more comfortable. Like I was saying earlier, people are in the best situations when they're talking to a lawyer or a doctor. So being able to ease that burden as much as possible really helps. Employee highlights are a great way to do that. Harnessing current events and the zeitgeist, you know, the world is complex. There's so much happening, and it seems like increasingly so as time goes on. Um, being able to tap into what's making your prospects, your prospective clients anxious, what's concerning them, what's keeping them up at night by what's going on in the world, showing that you have expertise in what they're concerned about, or you have even just opinions, you have thought leadership. Being able to talk about that is great. We have an estate planning attorney based out, I want to say, in California, who every time a celebrity dies, he talks about how their estate is going to be managed, how their will be handled if they died without a will. They talk about all of that, bringing something that's incredibly foreign and very inhuman of like celebrity status to the level of their viewers, to their audience, and it's beautiful. Um, it's amazing actually how well it works for them. We have another client out in Boulder, Colorado, who's a Veterans Affairs attorney, and whenever there's a change in the law, he's always the first of all of his competition to have a video out saying, "Hey, Congress just made this change. It's going to affect your benefits. It's going to affect your health, and it's probably going to affect your family. Here's why." And it's a fantastic series that he does. And then stepping away from that, stepping away from your business, stepping away from your expertise, being able to build trust comes a lot from third parties. So you've got your testimonials and your client stories. A story I always tell people is I'm a I'm pretty good at video, but you're not going to really care if I just tell you that. But when Jessica says, "Oh, Scott's our director of video production. He's been doing this for X number of years, and he's helped dozens to hundreds of our clients," you're more likely to listen, right? If one of my clients says that same thing, you're going to be even more likely to trust me. So when people are looking for your services, the solutions that you provide, there's no better way to build trust, to build value in your business than by using your clients. Because we found is that a lot of lawyers, a lot of doctors, they will speak in in such jargon. They'll try to water it down, but there's still always that level of disconnect. Being able to have a client who is just a normal person, non-medical related, non-lawyer related client, being able to explain what you did in the words that somebody watching the video needs to hear is paramount. It is the best way to do it. So yeah, those four styles of videos by far the best way to go if you're making video on your own.
Mhm.
So then once you have the style down, it all comes down to, well, how do I do this? How do I shoot it? Keeping it simple is always the best move. You're going to see some more complex styles of production, some more complex styles of shooting if you're working with a professional videographer or a professional production team. If it's just you, maybe a marketing director or an intern sitting in your office shooting video, keeping it as simple as possible will allow you to extract the most value for your work. And I'll explain how. So you got to use what you have. right? Using the right tool for the job. You do not need a cinematic camera. You do not need something that an IMAX movie was filmed on. All you need is a DSLR camera, or honestly, more likely, a phone.
Mhm.
The phone, if you have at least an iPhone made after, I want to say about 2018, you have a camera that's pretty much quality for making your own video. Given it's 2025, um, equipment wears down, I would probably bring that up to about 2020. But if you have like a phone that is like in pristine condition from 2018, that's just as good of a camera. You really don't need much more than that. You can get like a lapel mic or like a shotgun microphone. I don't have one around to show you guys, but um, just having an additional audio source is good, but really just being able to film on a camera or a phone is all you're going to need. Um, when and where to film is a huge question I am always asked. You can shoot at any time of day. You can film anywhere you want. Being able to understand the limitations, though, is going to be key. So if you're somebody who wants to film outside, a lot of people have heard of the term golden hour. That's either the moment right after dawn or right before dusk. It's the light is literally golden. So that is always a great time to shoot video. It's going to be a little moody for like cinematic scenes, but if it's just you talking, be it like maybe out in your on your patio in backyard, something like that. I have a client who used to shoot video in a lake, right? They would just sit on their boat in the dock and there was like a light coming down from there. It was like beautiful in the evening weather and everything. And they were fantastic videos. If you don't want to shoot outside, you want to be inside, you're just more comfortable, you don't want to deal with the bugs, it's super hot, whatever. Being inside is great. A lot of my clients like to shoot in conference rooms. They like to shoot in client, sorry, not client, patient rooms,
Mhm.
even in their waiting room, just having a chair that's like maybe their logo is behind them. That's a great spot. There are some limitations with inside that you don't really get outside, like you don't want to film near a refrigerator because the camera will pick up the buzzing, or an AC unit. That can be a little rough. It can screw up the audio a bit. But primarily, yeah, if you are able to be in a room with some natural light, like a window or something like
Mhm.
that, that would be great. If you have to be outside, if you want to be outside, that's just as well. Same idea with the noise. You don't want to be near traffic, obviously. Finding a nice secluded spot is fantastic. And then video composition. Once you have the equipment you need, once you are situated wherever you're going to actually shoot your video, it comes down to actually shooting the video, right? And the next two things are very important. So I gave them their own slides. The actual on screen um, composition is so vital to making a video look good, to making a video successful. You have this thing called the rule of thirds. In traditional landscape videos, how you're seeing me talking, the image on the left, how like video that we grew up watching in landscape format, the rule of thirds splits the screen into ninths, right? The sole focus of the video one is supposed to be in the intersection of one of these little rectangles. More often than not, in Western civilization, where we read left to right, the main person that you're going to be looking at, or the main subject that you're going to be looking at, will typically be in the top left intersection. This video this video is a bio video for Renata Lanskins, an attorney up in Brooklyn. We placed her right there on the line between the left and center thirds. We put her face, specifically, we put her eye line on the intersection of the top and middle thirds as well. You'll see in the right, taking up the entire third, is the person she's speaking with. If she was looking to somebody on the right side, or sorry, on the left side of the screen, we would have just mirrored this where she's at this intersection and he is taking up over here. It's really just a matter of understanding what is environmental and what is actually worth paying attention to. She is what we want people to look at. He is building an environment for her to exist in the video. When you're looking at mobile, though, and that's becoming increasingly popular because of things like TikTok, YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, and so on, the rule of thirds is slightly different. A, a phone screen is not wide enough to effectively split into thirds. And some videographers are going to tell you different things. There are different iterations of the rule of thirds for mobile. I personally found this to be the most effective for all of our clients and my own work personally. Split it into a half and then vertically into thirds. When you have two people, much like you would here, instead of having one person on the intersection and one person off of the intersection, put one person on the left half, put one person on the right. Maybe you want to talk about something that's actively happening near you. You can be on the left side, and then the background is where the action is happening. If it's just one person, then you want to be center screen with the eye line being on this intersection of the top and middle top and middle thirds, not worrying about the left or the right side. It's very much like landscape, but when you're dealing with two people, I wouldn't say you really want to add more than that. Having two people, one on the left, one on the right. In all honesty, this video probably could have improved if we had his eye line a bit higher up and her face was more square inside of the panel right here. But yeah, well, it's not rocket science. It's just a rule of thumb. So fair enough. After composition, after you understand the angle of the shot, oh, before I get ahead, this is something that is used across the board. Like cinematographers in Hollywood, Bollywood, New York, Atlanta, everywhere, a lot of them live and die by the rule of thirds. Some say you don't really need it, but for what you're doing, just trying to make an aesthetically pleasing educational video or a testimonial of some kind, this is all you really need. There's a lot of cinema theory, there's a lot of film theory. You really can cut through the noise by just remembering the rule of thirds. So, with that in mind, once you have the angle set up, you have your equipment, you have it all done, the next thing is to work on the lighting. Usually you want to have like three lights is like your industry standard. I always provide links to clients who are doing their own video with a kit that's just two lights. One is just cheaper. Two, you can get by using a window as your third light if you don't want to deal with a full-on Hollywood setup. In general, you want to have your camera, whether it's on a tripod or maybe your assistant, your intern, your marketing director, whoever's holding it directly in front of you. Then you want to have what's called your key light. This is your main light. It's going to be the brightest, about 45 degrees off of the camera, pointed directly at you. And then if you're only using two lights, you have a fill light that's going to be a little bit beyond 45 degrees in the other direction, slightly softer, placing light on you to cut away shadows that that the key light will put on you. And it'll also take care of any shadows on the wall or the bookcase or what have you behind you as well. If you were to have a third light, you could put the fill light closer to the 45 degree, and then you would have another light that's behind you. That's going to get complex. I don't lose you guys. So two lights, one at 45, one just beyond 45. That's all you need to do. In terms of height of the lights, you always want your lights above you for the sake of minimizing shadows cast up on your face. Like you don't want the scary story by the campfire
Mm.
effect with the flashlight. So having the lights above you, I think this graphic is a little intense. You don't have to have a camera a light that's 45 degrees north of you. Just having it closer to where this fill light is, about 15 to 30 degrees, is going to be fine. When I film stuff on my own, I actually have the fill light almost right at eye level to cut any shadows that the key light is making my nose or my chin cast. Um, this is by far the most complex part of DIY video. So if you're watching this being like, I didn't catch a word of what he said, that's completely fine. Everybody honestly feels that way. I'm going to give you my contact information after this. We can definitely talk about this. I have talked lighting through with, I don't even know how many clients at this point, and their videos are turning out fantastic. So I'm more than happy to help and go into better detail with you on this. So,
And Scott has talked to me about lighting often and frequently. We shot videos internally, and he'll be like, move your light. Where are you standing? How close are you to your light? So, Scott is an expert, and the lighting is clutch if you want to produce a really good video.
thank you, Jessica. Yes, I. This is by far the most complex thing. So please do not feel discouraged if this slide was really intense. And if it wasn't, if you're like, dude, move on, I got this. You are so far ahead of so many people. It's great. So that's the basics of shooting video by yourself. The next is how you polish it. And this is really, really important because so many people will plateau. They'll get used to what they're doing, what their standard is, but they can never make it up to the next level to where they're maybe to where their competitors are. So they always get discouraged, and then that always leads to them fizzling out and stopping video. But the main thing to remember is you have to stay positive. You have to stay in the game. You're going to face challenges. You are going to kind of lose some self-esteem in the beginning because it's a new skill. You're not a professional videographer. You're an entrepreneur. You've got so much going on already. Trying to keep the lights on, you're paying a mortgage, you're raising a family of four. Nobody's expecting you to be Clint Eastwood. Nobody's expecting you to be Quentin Tarantino right off the bat. You can get there,
Mhm.
but it takes some time. So, first off, a lot of the obstacles that lead or that sorry that keep people from really improving are these six. There's many more, but these are the six that I always hear. The camera's not working. Rule of thumb, always have a backup piece of equipment. If your DSLR isn't working, pull out your phone. Like I said, if it's a new enough phone, it's great. You don't the differences in the sensors are so minute at this point. Nobody's unless they are in the industry, nobody's really going to know what you shot it with. You don't have enough time. Big, big issue. I understand. I was just hinting at this earlier. I'm actually going to talk. I'm going to move forward. I'm going to talk about this a little bit later. You're filming in a noisy area. Like I said, you want to try to avoid traffic. You want to try to avoid refrigerators. You want to try to avoid air conditioners. I had a client who just he could not find a place that was quiet in his office at all. He actually sent me some video to edit when his office there was construction going on. I'm like, dude, why are you just wait the next day, you know? And he ended up putting AirPods in and it was beautiful. Like there was a little noise. We were able to cut it out in post, but AirPods did the trick. So if you are just finding that you just cannot get free of noise, put in AirPods, put in wired headphones with a microphone. The noise cancellation that little tool has is more impressive than you would think. Um, Other things come down to mindset. So you don't have the patience for editing, you don't have the mindset for topic ideation. That's totally fine. A lot of professional editors don't really have the patience for editing. It's a tedious, mind-numbing effort at times. Finding somebody to kind of take on that part of the work for you is pretty valuable if you want to try to keep your momentum going. It doesn't have to be like an agency like us. It could be an intern. It could be your marketing director. It could be your 16-year-old who does TikToks all the time. That is great. Um, as long as you have somebody who can take the things that you just know you just aren't going to do, is fine. The topic ideation, I would actually argue you don't want to ideate your own topics. You don't want to come up with what your videos are going to be. Let your business tell you. Frequently asked questions. What are you literally frequently asked? That is going to be a great topic. Being able to answer questions people have before they even walk in the door, game changer for your marketing strategy. What's your marketing director finding that people are finding you for on the internet? What are people finding your competition for? That's a topic for a video right there. You don't have to be the one to think up what your videos are going to be. There is going to be some overlap. between what you have and what your competitors have, and that's okay. That's completely fine because ultimately, going back to the humanization standpoint, people are going to go with the people that resonate with them the most, right?
Mhm.
And then, bottom line, you need an extra set of hands. It's
Mhm.
hard to shoot video by yourself. I remember in 2020, or sorry, 2016, I shot my very first short film by myself. I was the director, the sound guy, I did the lighting, and the cinematographer. It was 12 hours of shooting for 7 minutes. It was awful. My cast hated me. I hated me. It was rough. But I realized if I only had hired just one person to handle the camera while I was running audio or the to hit the clapper as I was getting the camera set up right, we would have been done in half the time. Honestly, it's amazing what just one extra set of hands can do. Again, be it your marketing director, an intern, your partner, anything like that. Those are the best solutions to these obstacles. Once you start getting past these obstacles, like I've been saying, consistency is key. This isn't a one and done thing. It's not uh, just do one batch, one day of filming, and we're going to stretch it out over the course of a year. You can, but you're going to find so much more success if you do it routinely, right? You want to make it a system of production. So how do you do that? Batching content is great. Take one day every month, just one day for 4 hours, 4 hours out of your entire 30-day span of the month, and shoot as much video as you can. Typically, people get about 10 videos out in that time because they're going to take it a few times. They're going to say it over and over. But 10 videos is on average what people get after they get in a routine. The first time you do it, you might get two, right? By the time you're really getting into it, maybe you're hitting 12, 15. But that is great. And if you release one video a week, 10 videos is 2.5 months of content for just 4 hours of filming. If your opportunity cost is far too high, you can't take time out of your day. I have a lot of clients who will just go into their office on Saturday morning before their family wakes up. They just knock them out and then they just head back home for lunch and then life just picks up. That is a great way to do it. Setting reminders. So many people I've reached out and like, hey, I haven't seen any new content from you. What's been going on? And they're like, I just forgot. I got busy, life got insane. I screwed up. Set the reminder. The only thing keeping that obstacle in your path is complacency. Just set the reminder. Put an event in your phone. Set an alarm on your in your alarm clock. Like that's all you got to do, really. But like I said earlier, a few hours can give you 2.5, 3 months of content. Again, the buddy system is big. Having an accountability like liaison is huge for shooting video. They don't have to be in the room with you, but if you have like that receptionist, you have that intern, you have that your business partner being like, hey, did you shoot video this week? You were supposed to shoot video. You're like, no, you're right. I'm gonna do it. It's amazing what it'll do for your self-esteem, really. Once you build that consistency, you don't want to do the same thing over and over and over. It'll get stale, you'll get bored, your viewer count will drop. Iteration creates the breakthroughs. Iteration drives innovation, right? So if you aren't necessarily the best at what you're doing yet, changing things, tweaking, experimenting, being a scientist about it can really turn your videos into something that you never expected it to be. So, like, try different locales. The guy who I was saying earlier, he goes onto a boat. He has since sold the boat and he now films in his car and he lives in like in a town that's very very quiet, so he literally will just park his car in like a empty parking lot, pull out his phone and just start talking. Sometimes he films in his living room. He has his kitchen, he has his TV on in the background, he mutes it so there's like an aesthetic thing happening in the background and he just talks into the camera. I have clients who will sit down at their desk at times. Other videos are going to be when they're in the conference room. One guy only films when he's running. So it's a different locale every time because it's a park or it's a city street or it's whatever. He's talking to his headphones. It's a great little gimmick he has. Try online other on-camera personalities. Not everything has to be said by you. Like I said, show all of your employees. Get the receptionist to explain things about your intake system. Have your marketing team explain your differentiators from your competition. Being able to show different people really drives a lot of new audience that you probably didn't even know that you weren't tapping into because they maybe just didn't resonate with how you said something. Somebody else's personality will explain a very similar topic in a vastly different way. Um, Different people for different topics, same concept. Being able to expand on your viewers' favorites. I have a client who started doing videos that went over veterans benefits forms. He
Mhm.
had done a lot of like standard FAQ style videos and stuff like that, but it never really um, led to a lot of growth in his YouTube channel. But then he had the idea, hey, I'm gonna create a tutorial on how to fill out this form. In a week, he was getting thousands of views. And so we did the same format again. Again, it happened. We did a third. We've done six. It's lightning in a bottle. It was perfect for him. So we found what his viewers liked. They commented, they shared, they viewed it multiple times. We did more of it. Now his subscriber count, his brand awareness is just escalating beyond compare to when before he was doing that. And then competitive analysis. Like I was saying, you don't have to be the one coming up with the topics. Look at what your competition is doing. Look at what they have that you don't. Look at what you have that they don't, and capitalize on either. If you are just the expert, you're the pro at this one thing that none of your competition can do, double down on that because I guarantee you they're trying to figure it out. And if they're doing something that you haven't figured out yet, explore. Try to answer it in a better way than they did. And that will give you a whole set of videos. That is the best way to start ideate or to start iterating your video process and really turning it into a system. So, with all that said, we are at 30, we're at 32. Sorry about that. We're running a little late.
Oh,
Um, that's it. That's how you shoot video on your own. That's how you do it without a professional team coming into your office and making you look pretty. You have all the tools that you really need to do it. You just have to build the resiliency. You just have to build the time to be able to build that resiliency. Once you have all the equipment, once you have the time set aside, it's just practice. That is it. If you guys have any questions that I either didn't go over, maybe I went over too fast, or I need to explain it in a different way, feel free to reach out to me. You can contact me at scott@fosterconsulting.com. My office phone is 703-348-7415. I really appreciated being a part of the user group today. And yeah, I'm looking forward to questions. If you guys have anything, I'm never going to do a hard sell. You want to call me just to answer a question, I will answer the question.
awesome. Thanks so much, Scott. Scott's amazing. And if you didn't get the hint, and we kind of got into things really quickly because Scott had a lot to cover, but we DIY videos. Scott is a great resource to reach out to him. Hey, this thing doesn't work. This lighting looks weird. What do you think? If you get to a point where you're like, you know what, my time is better spent not doing this myself. Scott can send a team to your office, shoot videos, and edit it for you. At the
Absolutely.
end of the day, Scott just wants you to do video for the love of bananas because it works. So he's willing to help you get it done no matter what it takes. Reach out to Scott if you have any questions. And thank you guys so much for joining us. We'll see you next month. Thanks, Scott.
Thank you
Talk to
so
you
much.
soon. Bye.
Thank you.